Bernstein again. Big opening. Pass 5. Pass 10. Vermont's a man. And he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards of the Terrors.
Welcome back to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oak Bridge Wealth Management. I'm Matt Perkins, joined as always by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how are we doing today?
Dude, we are good. This has been the most exciting week with Coach White, and now one of my favorite guys, Russ Kuhns, joining. This dude took me under his wing, showed me a lot of amazing things I can do as a fullback and also as a football player in the town of Madison. And Russ and I, we've shared some amazing times, and I'm just thrilled to have him on the podcast with us. Thanks, Russ, for coming out, man.
Yeah, man, I remember when you came in, and I saw the Coach White interview, but, man, I remember when you came in, man, you were a big presence and stuff like that, but, man, your fundamentals weren't there yet. But, dude, I'm telling you, man, you're a big dude. You run in there fast and hard. Feet would be together. You know, Coach White would be on your ass. Man, get a base. You know, all that deal that, you know, like he's a master teacher, no question, because in 3 months, you went from getting knocked on your ass to being this a freaking monster. I can remember that. I can remember that spring. I broke my foot that spring, but dude, I don't know what the hell. I wanted to test your blood, man. It's like you just turned into a goddamn animal. Like you just started just mushing people. I was like, where did this dude come from? I'm like, bro, you just started just murdering folks. I'm like, man, this dude, he's next level now. Man, you got so good so fast. It was freaking unbelievable. And I was like, dog, this dude is 260 pounds that just knocked you out. I was like, my God. So,
Russ,
man,
I appreciate that. I have never said that I came in ready to play. I was horrible. Coach White even said it. I was god awful when I showed up on campus. I'm just lucky a bunch of people took a shot.
Before we get started, want to remind everyone that we are presented by BetOnline.ag. BetOnline is your number one source for all of your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right up through all of the top fights in MMA, UFC, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with over 150 slots and other games. Head on over to the website today to get in on the action and use our promo code BELIEVE for a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. And we are also proud to be brought to you by Chris Anicetti and Oak Bridge Wealth Management. If you are a current or future professional athlete, get with Chris. He is the guy that you need to get your money right. Get in touch with Chris on Instagram at Chris_Anicetti. That's Chris_ANICETE. Or get in touch with Oak Bridge's team on their website at oakbridgewealthmgmt.com. That's Oak Bridge Wealth Management.
But Russ, it's funny, as we just jump right into it, dude, think about it. Like, I showed up, I was a freshman. Your brother was the starting fifth-year senior. Mm-hmm. You were the next guy, right? Was Bick there at the time?
Yeah, Bick was there. And
Bick was there, but he did like a dual role.
Yeah, he was – Bick was doing some tailback stuff. Heck, Bick ended up playing for the Cowboys for a year. Do you know that?
Yeah.
He was a talented dude, man. We had a lot of talent, but yeah, man, you came in there, man, and you had a room full of dudes, and you were just kind of this shy freshman guy, but you were huge. And then,
work ethic learned from you and your brother was pretty easy to figure out how hard I had to work. Dude, even your coach said it from high school when you won that award. I was reading some article, said you're the hardest working dude out there. And I truly believe that. And you're right, dude. Fundamentals, I was trash. We could go on a Bernie hate. My freshman year was disgusting. But you're right. When we got to spring ball, it all clicked. You know,
you were still a freshman then, so don't get it twisted.
True. But between camp and spring ball was like night and day.
bro, you. Man,
maybe because we hung out a lot
that.
and I was drinking whatever you were drinking and just all stuck. It all stuck. Dude, Russ, I have to jump into this one story. It's one of my favorite of you ever. My brother comes to visit. It must be.
Oh, I remember this.
It was kind of cold. So I don't know if it was still during the season or not, but my brother, I don't think it was. I think it was at the tail, April or something. And you're like, yo, let's hang out. And so I'm like, great. My brother's here. We're going to hang out. He's a senior in high school. I'm a freshman. You're like, we're going to go to this bar. It's in a church, but don't worry. It's an actual bar.
So it's a key club, baby. It's a key club.
Dude, so I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Let's go to it. So we end up walking into this place. You remember, like, we were in like jeans, sweatshirt, boots. We look like we're going to the KK. Like, not. We walk in. Everyone's in their like best suits.
Yeah.
And I go, Russ, what the is going on here? And you're like, oh, I was invited to a sorority formal. And and you took my brother and I. Dude, we sat at the bar and took shots of vodka pretty much the whole time, and then went to the KK. And by that point, I have no idea what happened.
Well,
and then that was one time when I think you parked your car somewhere and it broke down and you couldn't get it to start. And Pashodi saw you trying to get it to start. Dude, like everything was just so funny. My brother, I tried to call him today to get that story, but man, that's a typical like Russ Kuhns hangout. Like you never know what you're gonna get.
Man, I tell you, I wish I could remember a lot of this stuff, but I can't.
Me too.
But I know a lot of crazy stuff going on. But in my life at the time, like my father just passed away, so I was in a bad place, to be honest. And I was thankful to have my brother. That's why I went up there, because my brother was there, and I lived with them for that first year. And man, he saved my life, and them coaches saved my life. Like, man, I was in a bad place, and not that you couldn't tell. Yeah, you could tell. But anyway, I was in a bad place. But it was good to be up at Wisconsin. Like, man, tribute to Coach Alvarez. Man, what a good dude he is. I don't think people really know what a good man he is. He's a quiet dude and whatnot. But man, what a good dude, forgiving, caring man. And, Coach White, Coach Cosgrove, man, those dudes were so great for me. Man, I'm not where I'm at today without those three guys up there. And my high school coach, man, he's still a father to me. He's still the coach at my high school. He coached me and Chad. He's still coaching, man. He's in the Ohio Hall of Fame. I mean, this guy's like legendary. And, he's been like a father to me. Without all those people, I'm not where I'm at, So, going through those experiences in high school and college is what made me want to be a coach. I've been coaching ever since I left. Went to Bowling Green, where Coach White is now, and I was on the staff right when Urban Meyer left, because he was there for 1 year. So as OC gets promoted to head coach, and then I worked for the OC. I was doing O-line, so I worked for the OC for him, and he was O-line coach. Man, he was a great dude. Man, I'm telling you, without some of these men, especially in my early life, you're going to tell some stories that I don't remember, and keep it real. I mean, without these guys and without guys like you, I'm not making it. You know what I mean? So learning all these lessons made me want to coach, and it makes me a better coach. I think God had a plan for me. Like, dude, you're going to have to go through all this crap to be able to be a great mentor. Like, pretty much say, hey, man, if you got any ideas like I had when you were young, probably shouldn't do that. Probably shouldn't do it. I mean, work hard, do all that. I mean, I did all that. I worked hard. I was a tough guy, I wasn't scared of anything, things like that. But, just learning how to control everything. Another guy was Jason Heck, man. I got my undergrad in psychology because Jason Heck was, he was a scout team coach when I was a freshman, and he was like, man, not many people can do it. It's hard to get into. So I got in. I got into there. I had to have like a 3.2. I got in there, got my psychology degree. A lot of reasons I got my psychology degree. what's wrong with me. Number one. I'm serious, man. I was going through it, man. I was anxious all the time.
I believe it.
I was like, man, I'm going to go ahead and dive into this because let me see if I can figure out what's going on with me, So, that was a great decision to do that. And then got my master's in exercise physiology because I like to work out and whatnot. So I just wanted to get the mind, body, and soul figured out, So
Good for you.
Yeah, man. So after Bowling Green, I coached college for about 10 years and then became a high school head coach in Louisiana. So funny story. So the guy that was my mentor at Bowling Green, he was the O-line OC. He ended up being the OC O-line at LSU. So I go down there. I was down there 4 years and did every LSU camp. Met with LSU dudes a lot, kind of, just, checking it out and learning the scheme and things like that. And just, trying to grow as a coach, and this dude, man, awesome, man. So the second year I'm there, he's already down there, but the second year that I'm in Louisiana, we won a state championship in the Superdome, and he got to watch it. And that was an awesome experience. So, yeah, but man, all the crazy crap you can say about me, dude, is made me a better coach and a better man and a better mentor and a good father. So it's kind of, man, I'll never take back anything.
Well, good. Because you shouldn't. I mean, we are where we are because of the things we've done, good or bad. But Matt Perkins, this dude is one of the strongest human beings, pound for pound. That's why we hung out so much, because not only being fullbacks, but we lifted together because we were just strong together. Russ, let's go back to like little teeny Russ, if there ever was one. How'd you get into football? Like, why that? And then your path to Wisconsin's a little bit different than I would say, like, I don't want to say like a normal, person coming right from high school. Talk about how Wisconsin. Talk about your high school, because you were dominant in 3 sports. Wrestling, you probably could have wrestled somewhere. You told me you could have been the best MMA fighter, which I totally believe. And I think everyone on our team would believe it. Everyone in Madison at the time would believe it.
In the gap, man, because I would have been good at, man, the way my feelings were at that time, shit, you couldn't tell me nothing. I might have got my ass whipped. I don't know. But, you'd have had to choke me out or knock me out. So.
We'll talk about little Russ starting football. Like, how did that happen?
Well, my brother is such a huge influence in my life. So growing up, my dad was just a factory worker. We grew up in a single wide trailer. Me, my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad. But man, Chad was really into football, and man, I'm the little brother, so man, I fell in love with him. So we'd watch the VHS tapes of the Super Bowls. Our favorite deal was to put on the little VHS tape, and we're just gonna watch the Super Bowls all the way through. We'd do it. Lynn Swan, man, I remember all this crap. I watched it so many times. So Chad was always like, man, I'm gonna be an NFL football player. I said, well, I'm gonna be one too then. I mean, that's what we're gonna do. So it's funny, man. So when I go back home, I go look at that trailer where we grew up. Man, this thing, bro, I thought it was huge. You know how when you're a kid, you think everything. I'm like, man, my place is huge, dog. What the hell? Shit. We were living in a tent. So anyway, like a glorified tent for real. Yellow, looked like a banana. Thing was awful. So I go back there and I'm looking at the yard, and me and my brother used to play on the side of the trailer. Man, I swear to God, you'd ask me, man, that's a whole football field, bro. I'm out there, and we got these. You remember the Hutch pads, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's Eric Metcalf, and I'm Walter Payton. And, man, we're playing up and down this thing, tackling each other. Probably got 3 or 4 concussions back then. Didn't know, because we was out there just striking each other. And we were just stupid. And, I go back there and look, and I'm like, man, I got, this thing was like a whole football field. Man, that was like 3 strips of mowing. Man, what the hell? I'm like, how did we think that this shit was, you know what I'm saying? Like, like when you're a kid, everything's bigger. I'm like, bro, we was literally playing on like a 10x4 box, thinking it was a whole field, you know. But anyway, so that's kind of where the love started, you know. And then we both got into like lifting. Like we were young, started lifting. We had like the Hulkamania freaking weights and shit. I mean, it was ridiculous. We were like, what do you want for Christmas, man? We want the Hulkamania weights. I'm like, we were big into WWF football, crap like that, you know. So we got the Hulkamania weights. We were lifting every day. Chad was doing curls every day. Dude wanted a ball for a muscle. He just kept curling. I'm like, man, you gonna do something else? But anyway, so like we had a little bench, you know, with the concrete weights, and then we had the little dumbbells. Hell, back in the day, I thought they were heavy. They're probably 5s. I don't remember, you know, but we were just repping it out, man, trying to be big so we could be either a WWE wrestler or a football player, and you know. So that's when it started. We started lifting way earlier, probably than you ever should. I think I was 5th grade. You was 6th grade or something like that. So,
and were you playing organized football at the time also?
Man, we were in backyards beating each other up, man. That's all we were doing. Man, we were playing.
So when did you actually like put helmet and shoulder pads on a jersey on?
It was I was 6th grade. He was 7th grade. Because back then, 8th grade was when you could play for your school, but they had a Catholic school in town, so we pretended to be Catholic so we could play some football, go CCD, you know how it is. So we played football there, and then so I started 6th grade, he was 7th grade, and the rest is history. But here's the bad thing, man, and I got to tell like all these young kids out there, people not to get discouraged. I got a picture. I wish I'd pull it up, but. So God did this to me, man. Somehow I'm 5 feet, probably in 5th grade. My brother's probably like 5'1", 5'2". This fool grows a foot. Guess who don't grow? I was like, hold on, Jesus. Man, what are we doing, man? I'm like, so I got a picture. I swear to God, he's a foot taller than me. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm like, I ain't never gonna grow. I ain't gonna make it. And then Chad Chad was dominant from the rip. Like I think he was like 6 foot in 8th grade, just marking people, right? I'm 5'3", dog. I'm like, come on, man. So Chad's just destroying cats. So that put the chip on my shoulder even worse. I was like, look, if I ain't gonna grow, I'm gonna be the strongest bastard out here at 5'3". So I lifted more weights. My high school coach could attest to it. He makes fun of me to this day. But I would be in there lifting, and like, what is this young ass kid in here doing this? He's just staying here past the high school kids, you know. So, I think that was probably the best thing that happened to me too. I mean, I was like, man, I'm gonna be better than you. I told him, whatever record you break, I'm breaking it. I don't care. And he just beat me up or something. You know, he's like, man, what the hell? Come on, Smurf. You know, beat me up or whatever. So, you know,
I can't see Chad just ever saying these things. He's like the most quiet dude I've ever met.
Yeah,
he's related to you, which is I always love like the yin and yang of you guys when I was in a room, because you would have never said these two are related. Like just listening.
Man, I mean, obviously we're brothers, so he talks to me, which being around other people, I know he's quiet. And, you know, to hear people say, oh, your brother don't talk, this, that, and the other, back in the day, like coming of age and stuff, I'm like, what are you talking about? He talks all the time, you know? But you know, obviously that's his personality. You know, he's still kind of, you know, reserved guy, you know? But, I mean, he'd be quick calling me a dumbass. I mean, whatever. But you wouldn't think that about him, you know, see him on the street, he ain't gonna come out and act a fool, but you know. So
you guys, did you guys play together on the team in high school?
Man. So it was rare to start as a sophomore at our high school, but we both started as sophomores. So he actually got moved up. He was on JV as a freshman, and then made a playoff run, so he moved up to varsity for the playoffs. But like I said, man, the dude was full blown man. Like I was like, what the hell, man? Come on, dog. I'm in 8th grade. I remember wrestling in 8th grade, man. I'm 5'3", wrestling 132. Come on, dog. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, come on. Can somebody help me out here? Man, I was like, what are we doing? I used to measure myself on the wall. Hell, I'll shrink some days, man. I'd measure myself every day. I'd be like, man, this is bullshit. So anyway.
So you watch Chad have you guys are both having the success. You watch Chad have the success. He probably getting letters from a bunch of different colleges.
Yeah, that's back in the day, man. You get the
letters.
Yeah.
So you see Chad's process, right? And he chooses Wisconsin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like that done deal. What was your path was a little bit different. Do you want to talk about how you got from high school to Wisconsin and some of the reasoning for it?
Well, so Chad went up to Wisconsin, and I could have went down to Miami, Ohio, but that was kind of far. But see, what happened, I'm going to tell you why I stayed. I went to Findlay, which was really close to my house, probably like 40 minutes. So Chad goes to Wisconsin, and my dad was married at the time to my stepmom. And, man, I had the best game of my life in high school, man. I had I think I had like 350 all-purpose yards. Come home, and my dad's a tough dude. My dad's like Chad, like a kind of quiet, reserved, kind of like, like deep voice, Darth Vader type, So I'm like, I come home, and my dad's like crying. I'm like, I never seen my dad cry, man. I'm like, what the hell? And so my stepmom left him that night. So that's when me and my dad's relationship became different, because now it was just going to be me and him. So it was just me and him, because we lived with our dad ever since like 7th grade. But so then it was just going to be me and him, and it was just me and him that my whole senior year and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I'm not leaving this guy. Like, I'm not going to leave him sit here alone. I'm not doing it. So I stayed. And he passed away the night before my first game. And Chad too, because that was Chad's first opportunity to play. He traveled. They were actually playing Ohio. So my dad passed away, and I was like, I played that season. I actually got Rookie of the Year for Findlay that year. Mm-hmm. And Chad was like, man, you need to come up here. Like, there's no reason for you to sit there. Like, he's like, you can play here or whatever. And I was like, okay, but I needed to do it. I just needed to do it for me. God knows what would have happened to me if I didn't have him. The stories.
But what's the process like? You're talking about what, 1999, 2000, 99? So you're talking about, this is a long time ago before a transfer portal.
Yeah.
What was the process like? Chad calls you, hey, dude, get up here. What happens from that point on?
So I had a red shirt because I played as a freshman. So you got to sit a year. So I went up there, and like I said, I was on scout team. Man, them dudes had to hate me on scout team, man. Your AD right now, man, that dude stomped me right in the head one time. He damn near tried to cut me. McIntosh, man, they talk about a tough dude there, boy. But they hated me because I got one speed, bro. You know that. I'm going 100 mile an hour. Man, they hated me. So,
but wait, Russ, you show up. So you show up at Wisconsin, and you're on the defensive side of the ball, right?
Yeah, I was doing linebacker. So
you're on the scout team with one of the best O-lines.
Oh,
some of the best players to ever play at Wisconsin, and you are one speed.
Oh yeah, they all jumped me one day. I got thrown out of practice. It was unbelievable. I might have fought 3 times in a row, and so here's the play that got me kicked out. So they did like a speed option with Brooks. I can't see. Now you got to understand, these dudes are huge, right? All I see is big ass men. So I'm just scraping. I'm running as hard as I can. I don't know where the ball is. I just know it's going that way. So I'm running as fast as I can. I get right past McIntosh, and Brooks puts his foot in the ground, and I just wipe his ass out. Oh, dude. man, I got called everything by everybody. And I was like, I didn't even see him. I'm like, I didn't see him. I mean, I just blasted him. And Brooks is a tough cat. Brooks just popped up and was like, man, whatever, dude.
He's a tough dude.
Yeah, he didn't care. He was like, whatever. But everybody else damn sure cared. That next snap, 1,600 pounds, whipping my ass. They was all beating me down. I mean, it was a beat down. And then Coach Elvis, damn it, get out of here, Kuhns. He gets a little high pitched when he get mad. He's like,
Really?
get out of here. I was like, get him out of here. We can't get a playoff. So man,
I love it because the more you do your job on the scout team, the more you get hated on for doing it.
Oh, them dudes hated me. And Eck was awesome.
Yeah,
Eck was so serious about his crap. We had meetings, man. He was down, and he would always put me as the best player, like the best linebacker. He's like, I know you're an idiot, so you're gonna do it. I know that they're gonna get a look out of your dumb ass. So I'm gonna make sure that you're the guy. So,
were there any Russ Chad collisions, or was Cecil? Cecil wasn't the back at that point. He was before.
Man, I'm gonna tell you this. This is a good one. So, man, you know how fullback is in Wisconsin. You run a slide draw. It's like, as a linebacker, especially me, I'm running. I mean, I know what's happening. I know what the hell you're doing. I'm gonna hit you 3 yards deep. I'm just gonna sprint. So, I'll never forget this, man. This is the same day that I get my ass whipped by all these guys. So, Chad's doing a slide draw. I go and I thump his ass. And you know how Chad talks, right? And he's mad. He's talking through his teeth and shit, right? So he grabs me under my face mask. And he goes, don't you ever do some dumb like that again. He goes, I will kick your ass. I was like, you know what I mean? He was pissed. Chad's taking a lot of hits. You know what I mean? Man, the dude was blocking his ass over game. Man, you ever seen when he took his helmet? Dude looked like an alien, cuz. Did you remember that?
Yes.
Dude, I ain't never seen anybody grow horns. Like, this dude had horns. Like, he had, man, I was like, bro, what the? You might want to get that looked at or drained. I mean, he had lumps. I was like, dog. So, man, he was pissed. I hit him. He was like, man, don't hit me during the week because I got a hit on Saturday. So I was like, okay, I won't hit you. Next slide draw, it's Carlos Daniels. I hit that sumbitch so hard. It was immediate fight. Man, it was
Carlos Daniels.
That big old dude. He transferred to Western Illinois.
Yeah.
He was a big specimen.
I feel like I don't know. Was he there when I was there for a short period of time? Did he go to camp?
I don't think so, man. He left. I mean, he might have been. I don't know. He was.
I feel like I know the name, but neither here nor there. So what made the switch then from linebacker to fullback?
Well, I seen that they were thinner over there, and it was more natural for me. It's more natural for me to play fullback because that's what I played in high school. So, and I get to learn from my brother, and that was good. So talk about that a little bit. Like,
it's very unique that brothers get to play college football at a high level. I mean, how cool is that? What was it like? I mean, talk about that kind of relationship and that experience.
I mean, it was awesome. So that after my freshman year, my redshirt year that I had to sit, and we were on about every special team together, which was really cool. And then Coach White it was a Queens package. So I would go to fullback and Chad would go to the wing. So like third and short or fourth and short or goal line or anything like that. And then we were in the backfield together. And I got a lot of pictures of that stuff. And it's awesome that I got those memories captured, man. But there's a lot of pictures of that. And Chad's got every DVD and stuff like that. So it's awesome to see it. You know what I mean? It's all, that's something that, man, you could never replace. That's just, it's such a cool thing, like to be able to do. So And thank you, Coach White, for doing that for us. But man, it was a cool deal, man, to be able to play with your brother and be in the backfield together with some great, amazing talent. Anthony Davis. Think people like that. Eddie Faulkner.
Mm-hmm.
Man, a lot of people. Man, Eddie Faulkner was I don't know if Eddie was gone probably before you got there.
He was gone.
Dude, talk about one of the best human beings. Man, he is a great dude, man. He just got stuck behind a Heisman Trophy winner. And then you got Michael Bennett, who goes back to the future when he runs. I mean, damn, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying?
What are you going to do when Ron Dayne's in front of him? You can't do anything.
Man, he's a great dude, man. And like me and him stayed in contact throughout because he's a coach. He was a college coach and stuff like that. So we stayed in communication. But, man, he just put on a free camp in his hometown of Muncie. I mean, he's just a good dude. And his son's a freaking – I don't know. He got a son that plays D2 football. He's an All-American. Dude, they call him the Black Badger. I've been following this kid since he was in high school. Man, Eddie's a good dude. So, but man, the running back rooms with Coach White, man, I'll tell you what, he's had a lot of good ones, a lot of characters. Yeah. And I did see the podcast. I did try to scare the out of him every time I could, man.
My recollection, tell me if this is wrong. I think it's got to be either my freshman year or my second year. I think it's my freshman year because I don't remember. I sat on the side of the room where you guys would pick gumballs and throw them at us. Like where the new people would sit at the front corner by the door. So I remember, dude, you're in there must be 15 minutes early. You're like, do not say anything. So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. Coach Wright comes in with a box of gumballs, 1,000 gumballs, because he would chew gum over and over. And we'd all kind of go in there and grab a couple, but he would chew gum. He had his coffee cup, full coffee cup, and he had a chew spitter on top of the box.
Talk about talent with that man.
He can chew gum. He can chew gum, drink water, or drink coffee, and chew spit. And spit in a spit cup or whatever you guys call it.
To this day, I've attempted it. Man, I swallowed all the chew. Man, I ate the chew, drank the chew. I was dizzy. I'm like, I can't do this.
Well, Russ, this is my favorite part of it. So he comes in with this big box of 1,000 gumballs, both the spitter and the coffee on the top of the box. You jump out. He was never not scared. Like, he was scared every time he did it. He throws the box on the ground. The coffee's all over the place. Spitter's all over the place. There's 1,000 gumballs rolling around the room. And he's like, Russ, you made me swallow my spit. So he swallowed his chew. So he's like, pick all these gumballs up, Russ. So now you got the beef parts.
Oh my God!
Russ
I can remember that like a
up all over the place. He's running in front of the thing that comes down. So like you see Russ, like plays are on Russ. He's picking all the gumballs up, and then Coach White was so calm the whole entire time because he swallowed his chew, and it must have made him so he must have wanted to vomit the whole time. But he's like, okay, Russ, you got to do this. Like, every play was hilarious, and it happened multiple times. And he never, Coach White, I love the dude to death, but he never got smart to Russ hiding behind a door scared.
Like, bro, I'm gonna scare you, dog. It's gonna happen.
It's just, you can't make this stuff up, and it happened so much. But dude, I remember walking into that room day one. It's your brother, you, it was me, AD, Train, Broderick Williams, Pettis, Aaron Nye, because they gave him a walk-on.
Yeah.
And I'm probably missing one or two other people, but that room was wacky. And what was cool about it was a lot of competition because there was 4 guys competing for a tailback position.
No, I know.
And so it was really fun. What was also fun is it was great to watch your brother, just the ultimate tactician. Dude, because he was 245? He wasn't mammoth like you and me were. He was just technique-wise. You and me were thumpers, bro. We were just going to hit somebody as hard as possible and try to kill him. But your brother
he was going to get his hat in the right place. He was going to have his feet perfect. You know,
he was
man,
he
had to really, dude, you don't understand. The man is a naturally skinny dude. Like right now, he's like 205. Like, I mean, he's ripped right now. He's one of them. He's the people we hate. Like, the dude, like, damn, I look at a brownie, I'm getting fat. This dude over here smashing. I'm like, God damn. So, you know, like he's just a natural. Like he had to really work to be 245. Like he had to really work to do that. You know, meanwhile, I could have been 300 there at the drop of a hat. I mean, but he was so good because, man, he whatever Coach White said he was doing it, hands, hips, feet, man, all that still goes through my head. That's Coach White don't curse me, but I mean, Coach White was such a detail oriented dude, and now I am because of him. Because I'm like, I'm gonna say right now, Bernie, I'll say, man, go outside and go, kind of drive a dude. You're gonna go up to the dude. You're gonna have your hands inside. Mm-hmm. You're gonna put some screws under their chin. You're gonna get a base, and I mean, it's just natural now. Like, talk about like, dude, like just muscle memory, and like you don't even know how to do it any different anymore. You know what I mean?
What did he say? What was his sentence that? It was like, I can't remember, but he said, you're coaching something so it sticks forever. That's the gist of it.
Oh, yeah. So the phrase was constant conditioning of correct behavior.
Yeah.
And that's
what, man, goddamn,
dude, Matt Perkins no joke, man. He's no joke. He lets like two meatheads go at it and talk about it, but he's sharp as a tack when it comes to like all the everything else besides like being a meathead. Although Matt Perkins was a meathead at one point of time, he'll tell you that Chris Presley and Joe Thomas are the reason he's not on the track team, because who can outthrow Joe Thomas and Chris Presley? Dude, Chris Presley broke the Wisconsin record for squat, but he destroyed the fullback record for squat.
He's an animal. I saw it, I think, online. I was like, God, less.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing, man. I was like, man, my spine compressed just watching it.
I watched that video just to get hyped up. Like I have it saved on my computer just so I can watch it when I feel like it. It's one of the most intense, incredible like videos.
But imagine like Matt Perkins. So that day is a little bit built up because it's your maxing out day. But Russ, that was almost every day in the weight room. Not everyone watching you, but dude, you and I were on the same weight racks all the time. You're talking about like there was no acceptable function outside of being outstanding, right? Talk us through some of those. Like you are a naturally strong dude, but like talk us through like the weight training, the everything else we did outside of like Saturdays on the football field.
Man, it all started in high school with me and Chad. I mean, we got that work ethic because we were lucky to have a great head coach. So, like I told you, man, and obviously me being a midget for a while, I mean, am I allowed to say that? Me being a little person, what I got to do? Anyway, me being not growing until my freshman year, it was instilled to just try to be the best, be the strongest. And it all started with trying to outlive Chad, like, because he was real strong and he worked real hard. And I'm like, I got to work harder than that dude. So, and I wanted to break every record. He set every record at my high school for strength, and I broke every record. He set the record for rushing yards, and I broke his record, So that started there, and it was like, man. And then when we got to Wisconsin, it just carried over. It was like, man, I got to be on the first rack. I got to be in the first rack. I got to be in the strongest rack. I got to be in the first rack. And I think I kind of took you in the wrong wing that way. Like, man, dude, we got to be let's be the dogs, man. And became a dog real quick. And it's fun. And it's fun to be the dog, and it's fun to be the strongest. But it comes with a price, and yourself and myself, like, man, sign the check, man. We'll pay it, no matter what, we'll pay it. We'll grind this out till we're the best. I ain't going to be on rack 2, brother. So we're going to figure this out.
Yep.
We're going to, ain't no options. And, man,
the second you passed rack 3, rack 2, you cannot go back. And JD and Herbs and who else was there when you were there? Bot, like none of these dudes will let you do it. And it was the highest of highs. But dude, Russ, you and me and Greg Root have similar, like a lot of similarities. Like
Yeah,
we're like
man. He was strong as hell too.
strong as hell. Like we football wise, like we're thumpers. We play the game extremely hard. We work hard. We're in the weight room lifting extremely ridiculously heavy weights. We like to party. We like to do. We're if you're in a room, you know that you, me, and Root are in that room.
Oh, dude, they don't want to do that. Even today, I'd probably get divorced. Can't do that.
But it's really interesting because because no matter what, even the fullbacks who came after were much less. They were soft spoken, but all hitters.
Yeah.
Like I think your brother Cecil set a tone of this is fullback U, and yes, we are RBU because we're considered running backs. Although you cannot get an All-American because they only give it to halfbacks pretty much. I mean, you have to be like this outrageously good fullback. But how great is it that you're part of like this fullback culture that up until last year was literally burning strong? Guys in the NFL, guys saying fullback U, we have fullback city t-shirts, like all these things kind of originated back in the late 90s?
Yeah, I mean, the first one I know of is Cecil, and man, that's why I wore 37 because of that man. Man, dude is a great human being. Like he came, he mentored my brother for those 2 years, and he's just a selfless, great person. He'd come to our house. He didn't even live in Ohio, but he came to our house just to come home with Chad and meet the family and things like that. So, man, this is a great dude, man. And he was always like such a nice person, but when he got on the field, he would knock the piss out of you. I mean, he was a tough dude, man. He set the standard, at least for me, because that's the first guy I know. Now, maybe somebody said it for him, but for me, he set the standard. Like, that's a tough dude, man. I think he had 3 neck rolls. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen him play, but man, he was right here, dog. I mean, he was looking like Goldberg out there, just smashing people, So, I mean, he was a technician too, and that's how Chad became that way. But he was just battering ram, So, and kudos to that guy because he to me he started it, but I don't want to discredit anybody before him. Like maybe there was, but he was the first dude I'm from Ohio. I'm not sitting there watching Wisconsin football. My brother goes there. Now I'm watching. Now I'm like, oh man, that dude's a monster. Who is that dude? So to me, that's where I started seeing it.
I guess you could say like the Alvy era, pretty much. I don't discredit anyone before that. I completely agree with you. Alan Amici was a beast, a little bit different of a running back, but obviously amazing Heisman Trophy winner. But again, like when I got there, it was Cecil, who I still think is the best fullback to ever play at Wisconsin. I think
he's pretty good.
In college, he was unstoppable. He blocked for some of the best people, but he also just dominated. So I give it to Cecil. He'll never say that, but I think he was the best. But watching him, then watching Chad and watching you, it's like I had everything laid out. I just needed to let my body catch up. But Russ, we have to talk. I know we have like 15 more minutes, but we got to talk about camp stories. I mean, outside of scaring Coach White, there has to be 100 other things that you can remember, want to reflect on, or just stories in general. I mean, we can go into it. But camp to me was like the worst place in the world.
Man, at camp, dude, I came in there for 17 days. Nobody was really getting wild in camp, but he was trying to live. I was like, dude, I'm just trying to live. Like, I don't know, back in the day, I had a little TV VHS player. I just put on Dumb and Dumber every night and fall asleep. But see, now camp seemed like 34 days because you get up in the morning, practice, film, practice again, eat, take a nap, wake up, felt like you did the again.
Yep.
It felt like 34 days, bro. And you don't see anything, It trainers started looking good. Everything gets crazy. You know how it goes.
Dude, what Russ is saying, Matt Perkins, I'm sure you understand this, is you're literally in a place with 200 guys, and there's like 3 trainers, and by the end, they all are supermodels to you.
Oh, yeah.
They're all Gal Gadots. Like, because you're like, man, I got to get out of it. But also, your brain is like, I got to get out of this place. I can't take it here. Dude, also as a freshman, they bust us there. I had no idea what this place was. So we were literally in like, you can't see anything from the seminary.
No.
So all I knew was like this, I was on an island. It felt like I had no cell phone because I didn't have a cell phone at the time. So you're literally here and there's nowhere else to be. And you play football all day and all you want. And, but that's where some of like the best stories come from, like the training, the watching film. Russ, were you there when the hypnotist came?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That's one of the funniest things.
That was hilarious.
Were you there when Alvy took all the arcade games out?
Yes.
I mean, so you're talking about like, yes, football was extremely hard and difficult. And dude, Russ, you remember when they used to put up, this feels like something like the South would do, when they would get the Mendota Gridiron Club and they would have like this really nice, like drinks and hangout session in a tent on the hill. Yeah. And you'd be practicing your ass off on down below on the field, looking up, being like, and they were all the nicest people. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Mendota Gridiron. I love the people, but you're like, I want to kill all those people right now.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I hope you're having a good time.
They're drinking on this, and like out there, I'm like, I haven't had a beer in 2 weeks, and that's not normal. Like, I want it. And then every time we got out of camp was probably like one of the most fun nights.
Oh, dude, it was,
So Russ, hit me with some stories maybe you do remember, or even actually hit me with like, what was it like your first time getting on the field, being suited up, playing in a football game for the Badgers?
I just remember, I come out the tunnel and I'm like, it was so loud, and I was like, man, this is amazing. I'm like, and fortunately, I was playing that. First time I ran out, I was on all the special teams, so I ran out there like, man, it was unbelievable, man. The jump around thing, man, all that was just like surreal. It was like, man, this is crazy, and you're like, man, you're going to be on television and all that stuff. I mean, this stuff you just dream of when you're a kid. Like, man, could I, to be at that level, you're like, wow, this is unbelievable. This is crazy. But as you and me both know, after you do that, all that stuff goes away because, and I tell my players all the time, man, every football field is the same size, whether there's one watching or a million watching. It doesn't matter, because the awesomeness of 80, 90, 100,000 people, that all goes away because you still got to do your job. You still got to, you gotta block your man. You gotta do your job, and they don't change the size of the field because of the fans, bro. You got to do what you're supposed to do. It doesn't matter. So that's a one thing I tell all these kids. Oh, I'm gonna be a D1 player. Hey, bro, same size field, and all the fame goes away. So you just got to do your job if you want to keep your job. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that was some a cool experience, but I do remember my first game as a GA. I'm in the box, Camp Randall. We're playing Wisconsin. My first game as a GA, and I'm sitting up there, drawing fronts, defensive fronts, and then Jump Around comes on. I got a coffee up there, coffee gone. Everything's rocking. Coffee falls off the table. I said, "Oh shit, I ain't never been on that end. I ain't never been on that end." And I'm up there going, I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, damn, this is crazy. I'm like, because you don't feel it on the field, but that whole place, man, that whole camp, I don't know how that place ain't falling, man. Feeling what it felt like in the press box for Jump Around, the movement, like an earthquake. How is this place not falling down? Like, that's 1/4 quarter away from being a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Well, let's hope not. But yes, it does. I've been in the upper deck, and it is not. It's uncomfortable when it does move that much. It's crazy. What year was that, Russ?
I think it was 04.
Yeah, it was 04.
It was like a 52-49.
That's when you were
game.
at Bowling Green, right?
Yeah,
You guys had a quarterback who was like
No,
Jacobs.
Omar Jacobs. It was 05.
05.
Yeah,
It was 05. Omar Jacobs was awesome. You guys came out like 28-0, 21-0.
Man,
That's what we Calhoun.
Yeah, and then
like,
Brian Calhoun got going and had like 400 total yards.
Yeah,
man.
That was wild, dude. That was a wild game. Omar Jacobs was a beast, though.
Yeah, he was good. He was good,
and a nice guy off the field as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Russ. I have some. Let's do maybe a true or false, so we don't have to rehash it. True or false, Russ Kuhns? After one night when we were on Spring Street, maybe, did you and Ryan Simmons joust on your scooters on a unpaved road?
Oh, most definitely.
It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
I got a couple good ones for you. Okay, so you remember this green car you're talking about?
Right. Oh, I was going to bring that up next.
So, shoot.
The Mercury?
I'm getting car, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we cut the muffler off, and we've set Rob Tucker in it because Rob's like, let me do this. Rob is out. We're in the middle of the country on snow, and Rob is just fast and furious, running into everything. Hit a pole. I mean, we painted it. It was ridiculous. I was like, I'm so stupid, man. Like, I probably could have got $500 trade-in. Nah, brother, go. Ain't nothing that happened.
Russ, you took me home one day, and you parked behind the stadium where there's meters, and you had a parking ticket. And of course. And you picked it up. You didn't look at it. You crumpled it, threw it on the ground, got in, and drove away. And I, after a couple blocks, it's like, yo, Russ, you got a parking ticket? Like, you're going to pay that, or you're like, dude, I got so many parking tickets. They're not going to care.
On my tab, bro.
Yeah. That's the car that I think you sandwiched a couple scooters one time. I mean, I would have to bring Kleber in on
I hit
this.
a light pole in it one time, too. Yeah.
That thing lived through a lot. Didn't you guys take it to a field and try to flip it?
Yeah, that's when Rob got in there, man. He was in there. Rob, I tried to do it, and, Rob was like, man, let me show you how to do this. So I'm like, you got it, Rob. I actually saw Rob. Like a month or two ago. He works. He's like on TV, like the Weather Channel type stuff. He does like tree cutting and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But he also works for Paul Walker's brother. They do like a foundation, like a Fast and Furious. Yep. They call it Field Fest. So they had it up here at Fort Worth and at the Speedway. And I went up there and saw him. Took my son up there. We went up there and saw him. They do a lot of cool stuff, drifting and stuff like that. And man, Rob is Rob. If you know Rob, this dude's trying to be CIA type, like I can't find him. You know what I'm saying? He thinks I can't find him. Like, Rob, I can find you. I keep calling him, and he's not answering his phone. I'm watching him. He's with Tyrese, because Tyrese was there for the showing, and then Paul Walker's brother, he's like driving him. I'm like, damn, Rob, you are big time. I'm thinking, damn, you okay? I see you. You ain't lying. So he's over by the stage, and I'm seeing him. And, he's, so I walk over there and I stand right in front of the deal and I'm like, throw my hand out, like, Rob, I'm like, and he don't see me. So I go running by the truck and I knocked on the window while he was driving. Man, that was a Coach White moment for him. He shit his pants immediately. And I was like, man, I've been calling you. But that was cool, though, because I ended up meeting those dudes. I ended up meeting those guys in the car. They're like, who is this crazy running on our car?
Well, it's funny that you bring Rob Tucker into this because, Tuck, first off, was when I went to his house when he lived with Simmons on Spring Street, it looked like Rambo lived there. He had the bullets that went across your chest. He had guns hanging everywhere. I was like, dude, Tuck, I'm from New York. You can't really own a gun. I mean, you can, but you really can't. And I was like, and from like Lower Westchester, nobody owns a gun. You've never seen it walking around, like outside of like a police officer or like a military dude. And this guy has them hanging everywhere. He had a grenade, I think. It might not have been real, but I was like, what the hell are you doing, Tuck, with this ammunition? Like, it was a hunter, but just Tuck's an interesting human.
This dude looked like SEAL Team 6, man. I was like, what the hell? What do you need all this for, dude? What are you doing? And he used to ride home with me and Chad because it was on the way. We'd drop him off at an exit. I'd just be like, and it was, I never went to his house. I dropped him off this exit. I'm like, I don't know where that road leads, bro, but damn, something going on that road.
So, Russ, I have to ask you, because Tuck was a very wild human being. Who would be maybe your top, 5 wildest humans that were on the team? Because I asked AD and Greg this question, or they gave me this question. And they gave, here's their top 5, but there's a lot of honorable mentions. They say number 1, Russ Kuhns. Number 2, D. Jones. I don't know why 3, Herbs. 4 is Chuck Smith, but that wasn't his nickname. And then 5, Greg gave to himself. Greg Root. That was Greg Root's.
I concur.
So Russ is number 1. So then it goes. They said Brett Bell was one of honorable mention as a just wild human being. Tuck, Booker Stanley, BK, but Tuck pretty much is. Oh, that was it. Tuck was pretty much all of them.
Yeah, man. I gotta say, Greg Root. I love Root, man. He reminded me of me. Damn, I was like, you nuts like me, brother. What's up? Man, he did some crazy stuff, man. But he was the one thing I love about Greg Root is he was unapologetically Greg Root from the rip. Dude, I'm gonna freak this black and mild, smoke it, and you kiss my ass. I'm like, you got it, bro. Didn't care.
Yeah. So freaking it means you take out the paper in it that makes it burn slow. It's actually more healthy if you take it out because it's the chemicals
I don't know the health science behind it, but
I don't think it's healthy either way.
Yeah, he definitely did that everywhere we went. That's for sure. You're right. Greg is one of he's an eclectic human being, just like you. Now,
Herbs was wild though.
Herbs was wild. Yeah, I'll give him that. I think Tom was
he stayed within the law, I guess.
Herb stayed within it, within the track of acceptable. Same with Martinelli. I thought he was wild, but he stayed within the normalcy. Yeah. Bryson, all these dudes are wild. I was wild, but stayed within this pillar of.
You saw the examples of the idiots, and you're like, "Whoa, I'm gonna stay."
I pushed it all the way up until I was like, "Yo, Russ, we should stop right now."
Yeah,
sometimes you're like, "Nah, we're gonna keep going." All right, Russ, I got the one I love more than anything is when I told you this the other day. I think you forgot about it because it was I forgot half the stuff that happened. But Shabert, Mark Bell, Katua, Pashotti, John Jack. There was one other dude lived in a house on the Spooner building. Mm-hmm. Forget what street it is. They called it Spooner. And these guys would throw parties every single weekend, keg parties. They had a huge place, blowout. And the neighbors hated them because the neighbors actually took school seriously and, didn't party. And they called the cops. And they had in their apartment a stairwell that you could just run out. It was like a fire escape that kind of went right down the middle of the building. So they had the front door and then this fire escape. So they all did. So the cops come, they run down. I was actually not there, but I was at a party right across the street. So I'm literally watching the cops pull up, and then 5 seconds later, Mark Bell, Shabert, Pashotti sprinting out the door. So they left this place completely vacant. Not completely vacant. Ryan Simmons and Russ Kuhns were there. Russ, you answer the door because Ryan's like, don't answer the door. The cops aren't going to do anything. They're just going to leave. You answer the door. The cop goes, hey, do you live here? You're like, no. They go, okay, well, are the people who live here? They go,
I said, hey, man, they're deceased, bro.
So Russ goes to the cop. They're deceased. And the cop's like, I don't remember it, but that was it. And Russ is like, Ryan Simmons was like shell-shocked. Yeah. And I think the cop was too, because they're just like, keep it down. And I mean, literally, you looked in.
When I said that, the cop looked like, can you just kind of felt bad? Like, you died, man. What's going on? Are you coming here trying to bother us? We're dead. And they were like, well, can you just tone it down then? So I made them feel like crap. So they were like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe this having a celebration for the deceased. I don't know what they're doing here, but it's out of control. But party on, guys. Just
campus police must hear some wacky things for sure. I just thought it was so, because that story comes up twice a year on a group text all the time. Which
the one of the best stories there is about partying was when I lived above Ian's. So Ian's Pizza. Yeah, so it was Lee, Tucker, Nana, and then this other random dude, I can't remember his name, but he was our roommate, I don't remember. He wasn't a football player. And you got Chuck Smith, I'm gonna use that name. He's flipping quarters with a gang of people we don't know. He's flipping quarters, betting $100 heads or tails. Swear to God. Man, it gets up to like a rack that they owe him.
Chuck and Herbs were big time gamblers, not on sports, but on like flipping stupid things.
Yeah. Man, that was the time that the fight went up in a parking lot.
I knew exactly where you're going with this. That was the first time your brother actually talked to me.
Huh?
I could rehash this perfectly. I was standing right there when Brooks got punched in the face in front of Ian's.
I didn't see that part. I was leaning over. Somebody just told me that. Then I
did, dude.
Back then.
We don't have to get into what happened. I'll just say, Russ, you, me, your brother, Herbs, and like 30 other football players, these three guys, we actually kicked Chuck Smith and those guys out because they were all trying to fight each other. And we're like, guys, you all got to go. We got Chuck in the car because he was our boy. And these dudes left, but they said, oh, that's Brooks Bond. Brooks had nothing to do with this. He was just standing in Ian's Pizza. He had nothing to do with anything. And one of those guys punched him. And basically, long story short, we all beat those kids up pretty well in the middle of the street.
No, it was in the parking lot because I remember it perfectly because I was up there and it might have been you. You said, man, they just broke Brooks' nose. I said, what? And so I'm like last out. Everybody's hustling down. I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh, I'm not missing this. So I'm coming from the back and they're walking all the way into the parking garage. I remember this like it was yesterday. That's how mad I was. Man, our football guys are like our brothers, dude. You ain't going to just hit them. I'm like, and you hit the quarterback? Nah, brother, you ain't having it. So I'm walking up, and what really I was already pissed, but what really set me off is seeing my brother. Like, I caught up to him, and I said, what happened, Chad? And he goes, he was talking through his teeth like this. Like, Chad was like, I'm going to kill these motherfuckers. And I'm like, oh, that was enough for me. I'm like, oh, who hit? So I don't even know if I want to say this, but so there was a pack of us, right? And I came, if y'all seen the movie Troy, I came running out that bitch like Brad Pitt. And I did a crow hop and
from the opening scene.
Man, I came running out that thing. I said, man, we ain't gonna sit here and talk all day. Because after I heard Chad doing that, I was in the very back and I was just like, I'm like, let me get to it. I said, which one was it? Chad was like,
Superman.
Chad was like, that dude in the white shirt. I said, it's on.
And as everyone listens and is like, oh, this is ridiculous. Whatever you want to say, but those dudes punched Brooks Bollinger in the face. Brooks never said a word.
Innocent dude.
Innocent. Just stand there. They just knew who he was.
Man, that man. I don't know if I want to admit I did that. But maybe
no, I don't think you did that. Don't worry. Whatever we say here it's all remembering 20 years ago.
The deal was, dude, Brooks is never like a talker. Like, he's harmless. What the hell are you going to walk up and hit this man for? Man, that really
It got a lot of people mad. It's like you kick a hornet's nest. It was like I was a freshman when that happened after like some random game.
It was after Michigan. It was after the Michigan game.
After the Michigan game.
I remember exactly.
That's right, because my friend was in town who went to Michigan. So he gave Brooks his shirt. That's his claim to fame. It's like he gave Brooks his shirt to stop the bleeding from his nose, which is ridiculous. Dude, the aftermath of that was every coach called us in. Every coach was like, what happened? Everything was, do not say a word. They're like, did Russ do it? I'm like, I don't know Russ. I'm like, no, Russ was fine. Because I could literally blame Chad, and they would be like, don't worry about it. I don't believe that happened either. Not like I did that, but they were like, what happened? And I was like, somebody punched Brooks in the face, and it was just a melee. Like, nobody points fingers. You just tell them. Because the cops got involved at some point. We don't have to go into this. But I'll tell you a funny story. I pull up to the stadium the next day. Chad pulls up right behind me, and usually it was like hey, because I was on the scout team. I talked to Chad, but not a lot. Like we had very minimal conversations. And he was like, "Yo, Bernie, kicked those kids' asses last night," and I was like,
"Yeah, said that."
Yeah, I was like, "Chad, where have you been for like 6 to 8 months of my life? Yeah. Like this is amazing." Because I think
what? Yeah.
I was like, "Damn, yeah, we did," and then that was it. Like he went back to being Chad, and I went back to being my degenerate self on a Sunday. But it was, listen, no matter what.
Let me tell you, at that training table that next day, Coach White, Coach Alvarez, and Sasso, they called me over there. And
Sasso was the police officer liaison for the team.
Yeah. So they said, hey, heard you, did whatever. And I said, and you can ask him, Coach White and all of them asked. I said, I'll tell you something. I did knock the piss out of that guy. And I said, and if somebody would punch, number one of my teammates that was this cheap shot him and break his nose, I'll do it again right now. I was like, you're not just going to punch a guy and break his nose. And I was like, I would do it again. And I was like, I'm not going to apologize. I said, if you want to arrest me. Sasso said, I didn't hear anything. And Coach White and Barry were like,
well, Brooks was their boy, like their guy.
No, they were kind of like, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, they weren't so upset. I mean, I don't want to discredit it.
I don't think they were mad at me for doing it because I think that, well, I mean, we all did it really, but whatever. But I'm just saying, I just think that, like, that was the right thing to do. That's what you do for your teammates. You're not going to let him just get his ass hit in the face. You know what I mean? And then they're talking all kind of craziness after.
I did the same thing. And you know what? Those guys were fine. Like, they walked away. They were okay. It wasn't like
we didn't kill anybody.
Huge thing, right? Russ, you did. I mean, Russ,
cheap shot somebody again, though. I mean,
no, you're not going to cheap shot one Brooks Bollinger or two anybody else. That's why, Russ, when you and me and Greg, like, I felt invincible. Like when we were at the bar together. I mean, there was you had this like running back. Like no one was going to do anything to us, and if they did, it didn't matter what you did because we're backing each other up.
Yeah.
And that's why every time, Russ, while you were on the team, Coach White made us fill out those questionnaires. I voted for you, man. Dark alley. You want Russ Kuhns behind you because you're gonna walk away with no scratches on you, which I think is a testament. I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, man, dude, I'm gonna protect mine. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you ain't gonna just hit people. That ain't happening. It's like you think we're gonna get it on, we're gonna get it on. I ain't gonna stand here and watch. I promise you that.
So Russ, let's end this on a positive story. What is your favorite memory of Camp Randall?
Man, Minnesota game, senior year, man, I caught that ball in the flat and it got it down to like the 2-yard line because we were losing at the time. I think it was like a 22-yard gain. That was probably because of the pivotal deal. It was like a 3rd down, and I would, as a fullback, you're never expecting to get the ball. I'm standing in the flat, kind of, this is where I'm supposed to be, so I'm hanging out over here. And all of a sudden, hey, Brooks threw it to me. I said, well, let's go. So I took off with it. I'm thinking, man, I'm going to score a touchdown. Man, these 2 safeties hit me and dislocated my shoulder. Man, but it felt so good. But anyway, that was and then, everybody did the Kuhns cheer, so that was cool. So that was cool. And then that was a favorite. But also the Minnesota game when I was a junior, me and Chad in the backfield, we scored a touchdown. It was the first time, I think it was the first time. It wasn't the first time, but I think we took the lead in that game too. And it was me and him in the backfield. And it was ISO. And I knocked the crap out of somebody and AD scored. That was a cool moment too. Just being out there with your brother and all those moments, you can't take those away, man. It was cool because, like I said, he had a lot to do with me being the person I become, and especially at that time, it's like, man, he was like looking at me like, man, this dude's a glorified idiot. Like my brother just turned into an idiot. What the hell happened to him? You know what I mean? So God bless you. Thanks, Chad.
This is 20 years ago. I mean, like we are grown-ups now. Yeah. Rehashing like washed up funny stories. Yes, some of them aren't great. Some of them are fantastic. But I mean, you know what? It made us who we are today. And I wouldn't give back any of those moments.
Hey, I got to do something real quick. Maddox, come here. My son's right here. And, man, he loves the YouTube, and he's like, so here's my son.
What's up, Maddox?
Hey, Maddox.
Hey, bud.
So he's 10 years old. He's already 5'3", what I was in 7th grade, 8th grade. So he's already 5'3". He's going to be a big one.
Good for you. Dude, your dad's one of the best, man.
Yeah, he knows he knows I'm crazy. I'm not crazy him, but hey, man, the thing about having kids, though, man, you'll never know love until you have that kid, and you know what I'm talking about. There's a different kind of love that you've never felt in your entire life until you have a child.
It definitely is
wild.
wild.
Truly, as much as we love our brothers playing at Wisconsin, you truly die for somebody, your kid, man.
Oh, for sure.
The moment you have that child, you're like, there's some kind of love that hits you. Like you're like, whoa, what?
Yep, I completely agree.
But you love a kid.
Because it's football camp every day, baby.
Every day.
Every day. You're at the seminary every day.
Every day. And don't touch my kid or we'll be in that parking garage again.
Hey, Russ, thank you so much for joining, man. I truly appreciate it. Dude, Russ, thanks, man.
Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for everyone for tuning in to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by betonline.ag and Oak Ridge Wealth Management. This was amazing. I know we could go for many more hours, but unfortunately, like Bernie said, we do got to wrap up here. But until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.